Bohl is a senior Middle East and North Africa analyst at RAIN, a global risk intelligence company, and joins us live now from Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. Ryan, thank you very much for your time and for speaking to us here at TRT World. Now, Donald Trump says that talks with Iran aren't going the way he wants them to go. What does he mean by that, and how optimistic are you that a diplomatic solution can be found?
Well, I think broadly what that means is President Trump isn't getting his maximalist demands met, even by implication from these talks. The Iranians are still suggesting they will keep their nuclear program, their missiles, and their proxies in some form or another intact. And Trump wants to dismantle all three of those aspects of Iranian policy. Now, how much he's focused on that is the answer to your second question, because this is a crisis of choice. It was in many ways created by the first Trump administration when they pulled out of the JCPOA. And it is something that the Trump administration has been very focused on in the second term, to the point of airstrikes last year. So if Trump is willing to step away from his maximalist demands, the door begins to open for some kind of a compromise. It will be an imperfect compromise. It will not bridge all gaps, but it could step both sides away from the brink of open conflict.
And Ryan, both sides, as we mentioned there, they say that they want diplomatic solutions to this, but with the build-up of these military assets off the coast of Iran and indeed Israel, at what stage does Iran start making concessions, or has it already made concessions, or can more be expected?
I think that the Iranians are at their position where they've offered the concessions that they would consider reasonable now. It's a very big unknown as to whether or not military force will change that calculation. The Iranians were struck last June, and they basically didn't change their policy positions or their willingness to offer concessions to the United States in spite of that. Will another round of strikes change that? There's good reason to be skeptical that military force can do so, but it is possible that we're now going to be stuck in a cycle of these confrontations and military escalations. And if we're stuck in a cycle, then that's something the Iranians have to take more seriously, and it might make them more willing to offer concessions further into the future. On the other hand, if Iranian hardliners get the upper hand politically inside of Tehran, they may argue that rather than offering concessions, they need to put much greater pressure onto the United States. And that's where they start thinking about their energy weapon, of striking energy targets within the region, and of course, the immediate threat of retaliating against the United States with the intent of killing and wounding American troops.
And talk to us, Ryan, about Israel's involvement in all of this. Where does Israel stand when it comes to these talks between the US and Iran?
Israel would be open to a maximalist foreign policy victory that sees Iran give up everything on the nuclear front, its missiles and its proxies. And anything short of that, the Israelis are entirely inflexible about. If the U.S. does cut some sort of temporary deal or a JCPOA 2.0, the Israelis will be as critical of that as they were of the original deal, even if it's an imperfect framework, even if it's informal. The Israelis want a fundamental change of behavior from the Iranians, and they want it to be permanent. They're not willing to take half measures on that front. So for the Israelis, regardless of what happens with the U.S. and the Iranian front, the Israelis still have a long conflict ahead of them with the Iranians.
Ryan, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.